Hey everybody, welcome back to Attack of the Grey Pile. Today, we'll be painting the Engineer Squad from the new Christmas Krieg Siege Platoon box. I know many of you are used to seeing the Krieg in their typical blue, but the squad will be especially black on tan. So, let's get into it. Hi. Quick little housekeeping note here. I recently got looking into the analytics of the channel, and I was more than a little surprised to see that 97%, yes, that is correct, 97% are new viewers. Welcome. I'm more than happy to have you here. Please enjoy the video. 2.9 of you are casual viewers. Thank you, guys. You guys are the bedrock of this. And 0.1% are regular viewers. Y'all are fantastic. It would mean the absolute world to me if all of you who haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It's a new channel, it's growing. I really want to try and expand my channel and be able to reach out and try and cater to everybody's interests in the model building and miniature painting realm. And it would truly mean the world to me if you would like, comment, and subscribe, because that would better help me cater my material to what you want to see. Now that that's over, I appreciate you, thank you, and let's get back into the video. So, a little bit of an origin story for you. Long story short, I painted up the Mini of the Month Krieg Engineer from a couple months ago in this color scheme, and I really liked it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to tie in the rest of this engineer team to match this guy, so that then he blends in with the rest of the group. And that's a big reason why I decided to do black on tan. So, for the sake of brevity, I only recorded the painting of the mine operator and the remote mine itself. I'm following a simple assembly line technique here, painting by color, meaning that I painted all the black stuff, and then all the brown, and so on and so forth. In total, I have about 100 Krieg miniatures that I'm hoping to have all painted by the end of the year. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the clock is ticking, and it's not exactly on my side. Now that I've painted all the black components, I can start to paint the brown components, being the boots, straps for the controller, belts, harness, backpack, you name it. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to be going, oh, but what about the wood that he's standing on? I'm actually doing a different technique there. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to base that in white, and then I'm going to go back over it with a contrast paint, snakebite leather. I really appreciate how that fills in wood grain very nicely. Now I'm going to start laying down that white base paint that I was talking about for the panel he's standing on, and as well as for the handle of the axe that's attached to his bag. Now for the control panel, I'm going to be painting that in a dark gray. I want to try and make it stand out a little bit. I don't want it just purely jet black. I want to try and add a little bit of color variation to the overall scheme of this. Now, with the control module done, I can go ahead and start painting the cables.
Let's do this.
Now, for the cables, I want to keep this both realistic and simple. So I'm just going to do black, green, and red, being negative, ground, and hot wire. Now for his backpack, I've noticed that he has a bit of a tool roll-up sitting on the very top of his bag, and I want to try and pick that out and make it look a little bit different. So I want to use some OD green so it stands out against the leather of the bag. Here I'm mixing a bit of ochre and yellow to try and get a little bit of a faded color, because I want to do yellow bands across the frag grenades that's on his backpack. I want to try and pick that out. That's actually a realistic marker for these. Now he has a small set of cables hanging off the bag as well. I'm going to pick those out while I'm back here and chase out some of the final details on the bag. At this point, I'm just wrapping up some of the small details on the bag and then chasing some other details on the model. It's, at this point, turning into a bit of a game of tennis where it's one side and then move to the other and back and forth and back and forth. So I do apologize if this is a little dizzying.
One eternity later.
For the control module, I want to try and make the round window appear similar to that of like a radar screen. So what I'm going to be doing is a very light gray with white stripes through it and a white ring, so that then it looks similar to like a radar overlay. And then instead of in green, I'm going to do it in a off color red-orange, because I want to try and add a little bit of color variation to this model. While I have that red out, I'm going to go ahead and paint the lenses for the mask. Nothing like classic red on a Krieg, am I right? Here you go, one of my favorite effects, snakebite leather on white to make a wood grain. It looks fantastic. I really appreciate how it does exactly what it does, and it truly gives a realistic wood color to it. You should try it sometime. I really highly recommend it. In preparation of decal application, I'm going to apply a gloss coat to the right shoulder so that then the decal has a better surface to adhere to. Once that's dried, I'm going to go ahead and slap the decal on it, and once the decal has set up, I'm going to spray the entire model down with VMS satin varnish. That stuff is practically bulletproof. I really, really like using this stuff. It's durable, it's resistant, gets the job done. It doesn't get smoky either, which is fantastic, so you don't wind up with this off-color sort of finish on your models. Now for the finishing touches, I'm applying some Agrax Earthshade, and then on top of that I'm going to go ahead and apply one more coat of VMS varnish. Now, for the base, I'm using AK Interactive Styrama effects, and then on top of that, I'm going to be applying Valhalla Blizzard by Citadel. I don't know why, but I've got this big fixation at the moment on putting snow effects on my Krieg and on my Black Templar. I feel like it ties in very well, and it just sells the idea of it's a really horrible situation to be fighting in. Nobody wants to be fighting cold, wet, and miserable, you know? If you like what you're seeing so far, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to throw any comments in, please, by all means, throw some comments. Constructive, positive, whichever, like, I'll get back to you, I promise. There we go, one Krieg Engineer ready to go. Now let's go ahead and get to the mine. Yes. What you came here for? Looking at my hand. Oh wait, no. The mine. Yeah, let's go ahead and start painting that mine. So, right off the rip, I'm going to go ahead and start laying down some gloss varnish so that I can go ahead and apply the decals. I want to get the decals down early so that when I do my weathering and battle damage on it, it all ties in. It doesn't make any sense to have a boatload of chipping and then a clean numeral marker on a surface. It just doesn't make sense. Alright, now that we got all the markings in place, I can go ahead and start making a mess of this. First thing I'm going to do is paint the corkscrews, and then I'm going to start working my way around it, adding some of the details here and there, and then I'll start applying a sponge effect chip to the front of the model to replicate it, like banging into things, because it's a mine, you know, and it's on corkscrews. It's going to be crawling around and bumping into things. Now those tiny little loops, I know they don't really look like they do much, but in all honesty, the way I'm looking at it, from my perspective, they're either tie-down points or lift points, and they're going to be all chipped up, the paint's going to be broken off of them, so I wanted to highlight those in silver. I swear, with all these cables I'm painting, I might as well be a technician at this point. Now with all the details on top of the mine pretty much picked out, I can go ahead and start focusing on the back here. I believe this is an exhaust vent for the motor, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that a metallic, and then afterwards, later on, I'm going to apply a rust color to it to really make it look aged. Hagrax to the rescue again. Time to make this thing look filthy. Again, I'm using that Diorama Effects grit paint to set the bottom layer of my basing so that then it really ties in, and just in case I have poor coverage with the Valhallan Blizzard, it will at least show that there's like dirt or mud under it instead of just a relatively smooth base. With the texture paint applied, I can go ahead and start applying my favorite rust effect, which is made by Dirty Downs. It's a water-based effect. It's really, really good, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. With the model finished, I can go ahead and hit it with that snow, tie it all together. Whenever I use snow as the texture, I always do a Celesta Gray around the rim. I feel it ties in better, and it's not as such a stark contrast as your typical black. Or maybe, if you're really into the classic stuff, using an OD green. There we go. There's your remote-controlled mine, ready to go and tear up the battlefield.
It's over. It's just a memory.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining me today while I was painting a little bit of the Krieg backlog that I have. I'm hoping to make some more videos on the Krieg. I have a blue Krieg that's getting put together. I'm doing a gray Krieg, and then I'll be doing the individual components of the siege box as well. I also have some cavalry and heavy weapons teams that I need to paint for the Krieg, and then get back into my Black Templars backlog. Thank you again for joining me today, and I really appreciate you. If you leave a comment, a like, and a subscription if you like what you're seeing, or check out some of my other videos, I truly appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day.